Going down, everybody. It's your boy, That Guy Mile High, tuning back in for another reaction. And this time we got the top 10 dark discoveries made by submarines. This one's part 3. If y'all want to see part 2 and part 1, we can go back and I can go find those ones and we can check those ones out. You know what I'm saying? This was just the most recent one of the discoveries made by submarines, and I was like, I'm gonna do that one. So, but if y'all want to see 2 and 1, let me know and we can do those too. But anyways, let's do this, man. We ain't gonna waste your time. Hit the record. Hit that full screen, and let's jump right into this, man. Top 10 dark discoveries made by submarines, part trace. Lego.
Welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. This is a part 3. You already know why you're here. Here are the top 10 dark discoveries made by submarines. Let's do it. Kicking off the list at number 10, SS Garsopa. We'll kick off this deep sea part 3 with a shipwreck. Whenever it comes to underwater stuff, I think I have thalassophobia. These were hard to look at and look into, rather. I got chills looking at these photos, honestly. The SS Garsopa was once a thriving British...
Okay, first off, that's not a submarine, is it? I mean, I'm just calling a spade a spade. That don't look like a submarine to me. But we'll let him finish talking what he talking about. Let's just keep going.
Back in 1941, during World War II, the cargo ship was en route
cargo ship,
India, carrying a pretty nice amount of silver. It was a lot of silver, an alarming amount of silver. A storm rolled in, so the captain made a quick decision, knowing what was on board, to avoid the rough waters as much as possible. So the ship changed direction and started heading towards Ireland. Again, this was 1941 during World War II, so not a great time to head that direction. The ship was spotted by a German plane, and a U-boat later claimed the lives of the SS Garsopa's 85 passengers. News traveled quickly, and once the war came to an end, a few divers checked out the area. There was nothing. Now fast forward to 2011, Odyssey Marines team found the ship. 14,000 feet below the surface, surrounded by just pure darkness. The team kept around 80% of the treasure found, and the rest went to Her Majesty's Treasury. In case you were wondering, there was around 150...
That would be so dope. Like, one, I mean, I'm not going scuba diving and going and looking for shipwrecks and shit in the middle of the ocean. But if that was something that I was into, that would be dope to actually find something and be able to keep it. Like 85% of what you found, you know what I'm saying? Like that's not bad. Like I wouldn't be too upset. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Some people might be a little greedy, like, man, I found it, finders keepers, it's mine. It's mine. But 85% of some shit, like, come on, bro, that's probably a lot of, but that look like a lot of silver right there, bro. And them bricks look thick. Them bricks look thick. You dig what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Worth of treasure found. Yeah, if you can do it, then go grab it. Sure.
Right, see? I'm on the same type of time.
$150 million go into this deep, dark, scary thing. Would you do it? No. My answer is no. Nope.
150 mil? Oh, I don't know. I still don't think I'm going treasure hunting in the middle of the ocean or diving for the treasures. But yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice.
Graham's horn squid. This little squishy dude was discovered around 3,000 feet below the surface, and scientists cannot stop talking about the way he moves. Look at him. He looks like a really slow submarine, which is pretty amazing when you think about the Schmitz Ocean ROV that's down there getting this footage. It's also a submarine. How funny is that? He's looking at him. He's looking at them. They're like, what? He's like, what? They're all just both wiggling, trying to balance each other out. His body acts like a submarine's ballast does. Fluids and gases shift around, and in return, this little guy can float up and down whilst wiggling his toes. Look at him. I never thought a squid.
That's a crazy looking little creature thing.
Yet here we are. Part 3 was amazing. Cute squid. Number 8, Katherine Sullivan. Not really a deep sea discovery, but I mean, when talking about all these discoveries, you gotta ask, who goes down there? Who does the thing, right? When an entertainer wins an Oscar, Emmy, Tony, and Grammy, we call that
is a good ass question,
little title only a handful of artists can claim. But what about somebody who's been to both space and the deepest part of our Earth? What do we call them? Well, so far, them is just one individual. Her name's Katherine Sullivan. The former NASA astronaut decided to change up directions for this trip, so she joined Victor Vescovo on one of his 8 trips to the deepest known point on Earth. July 7th, 2020, Katherine Sullivan officially became the first person to do both. Go out there and down there. That's crazy. Your Fitbit's like, what are you doing? What's happening? How many steps is this? What can we call this impressive title? EGOT, a deep
that's
god,
super dope.
a deep
shout out to her.
A deep go-getter. Yeah, you're a deep go-getter. That sounds awful. We're doing our best here. Maybe part 4 will have a fun name. It's impressive. It's so impressive. My ears hurt thinking about all these commutes. Bravo. Hats off. Number 7, Holy Grail of Shipwrecks. Okay, back to Shipwrecks. It's hard to read up on these shipwrecks sometimes, well, all the time, because on one hand, it's fascinating to discover parts of our history we thought was once lost forever. Of course, we find tons of treasure that's always fun and noteworthy, but we're also exploring the scene of a horrible wreck every single time. It's quite grim, not on paper. In 1708, the San Jose galleon was heading to Spain from Colombia, but when the British attacked, the San Jose sank to the ocean floor, and nearly all 600 crew members lost their lives. Yeah, damn. Dark history. In 2015, the ship was found with around $17 to $22 billion worth of plundered valuables.
What?
See, back in the 80s, Glocamora Company claimed they had found the ship. Colombia was lacking the financial and technological resources to dive down and actually get it, so they agreed to give GMC 35% of the findings. In 1984, they then handed the rights over to an American company, Sea Search Armada. Then the game changed. Since then, and still to this day, legal battles have been unfolding over this lost treasure. COVID delayed it quite a bit, so if you can hold your breath for a really long time, it's still waiting there. No one knows what to do with it yet.
That's crazy.
Be right back. Number 6, the Valsa Shipwreck. Back in 16...
Join large-scale battles with military vehicles. The online action game War Thunder has received a major update. Direct hit.
1628, the Vasa sunk within 20 minutes of setting sail, and it claimed the lives
Damn, that's even worse than the Titanic. Didn't the Titanic at least make it some days, a week, a couple weeks? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, leave mother 20 minutes. It was in service for 20 minutes. God, I mean, that's not funny, but somebody didn't do their job, bro. Somebody just did not do their job.
How tragic is that? Only 20 minutes and it was gone.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
The ship August 10th, 1628, and it was once considered a high-tech warship, even referred to as spectacular. So what happened? How did this thing sink in 20 minutes? That's crazy. Well, the first rush of wind caught it off guard and it swayed a bit. The second rush of wind sank it. There's got to be more. There was a crowd around.
Bruh. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't that the whole point of the boats back in the day? With the sails and everything else, was to use the wind to your advantage, and like now it doesn't seem like it was so much, you know, the fact that somebody didn't do their job when it was prepping it and they was building it, as much as it just seemed like the crew and the captain just didn't know how to, like, you know what I'm saying? Just didn't know how to drive a boat. I'm gonna call a spade, you know what I'm saying? Oh, that looked like the captain didn't know how to drive a boat. Yeah. 20 minutes.
And everything to send it off.
Crazy.
The 64 bronze cannons that were installed during the rush process of building the ship were too heavy. That's why it sank. And the lack of oxygen in the water allowed for its rediscovery to continue its story. The Vasa was built with carvings all around the wood, carvings centered around the king of the time, King Gustav II. So when the wreck was rediscovered in 1961,
looks like it landed straight up though.
Intact, so it still tells the story. Number 5, under the ice. This dark discovery was pretty recent. Recent as in October 2021. The Hakon project is one I would never sign up for personally, but I'm surprised it's taken this long to do something along these lines. The Hakon project is a group of around 30 scientists. They teamed up to send a deep-sea robot 13,000 feet below the icy surface of the Arctic Ocean. This was the first time we got to see the hidden volcanic vents that have been hiding for centuries, because obviously it's that deep and that cold, and now we have the resources and people who are brave enough to go and camp out in the Arctic.
Yeah, I'm not doing none of that shit. I don't like the cold or the snow.
I remember hearing about this back in 2018, so I'm excited I get to throw it on a list. The oldest shipwreck discovered in the Black Sea. It looks like it sank 50 years ago, but actually this ship is from 400 BC. It's an ancient Greek trading vessel, and it's not very large, but somehow this thing is very mighty. 2,400 years later, over a mile below the surface, the lack of oxygen again actually preserved this ship. That's why it looks not ancient. John Adams, principal investigator with the Black Sea Marine Archaeology Project, describes the findings as something he never thought was even possible. Yeah, more than fair. That long ago, like, we're still trying to figure out the pyramids. We're like, oh my god, this thing's just chilling there the whole time.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is a crazy thought. Like, to know, like, we don't know really shit about the pyramids and whether the aliens, you know, created them and helped, you know, build that shit. We know that's still a question. You know what I mean? At least for me. I'm still convinced that there's some alien technology that was involved in creating the pyramids. I'm just saying that seems a little far advanced for the time periods and shit. Like, there was aliens. Something was there helping outside forces. But yeah, to now find something that, like, again, like, we haven't even figured out some of the biggest, you know, marvels of the world yet. And now you finding preserved boats from even before the pyramids and shit. Like, that's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
We knew about seafaring in the ancient world. The oldest intact
nuts. That's
shipwreck
dope.
was to mankind. That's not a bad
That'd be
thing.
a
Another
crazy
2,000
discovery,
years, we'll
though,
find
like, just
nothing
in
but
general.
plastic on the bottom of our oceans. Number 3, underwater river. We've heard about this one at some point, I'm sure, but how is this even a real thing? How is this possible? What are we looking at? What is this?
Underwater
Back in 2016, researchers working in the Black Sea found these very strong currents of water flowing at the bottom of the sea like its own river almost. If this 115-foot deep river was on land instead of, well, under the Black Sea, it would be ranked number 6 in the world for the amount of volume alone that's constantly rushing through it. So pretty impressive. The river carries heavy sediments along the seafloor, hence why it makes those grooves over time. And yeah, over time, those currents carve out their own path, and now it's massive and extremely powerful and unstoppable. But luckily for us, you need a deep sea rover to take a good look, so you're not gonna fall in anytime soon. Number 2, deep
That
water.
is so crazy. An underwater river? I mean, granted, yes, they just explained that it's just really strong currents that dug out holes and trenches to basically make it have this appearance of rivers. But still, that's really dope. I think that would just be cool to see. Like, that one's not really so much scary as it's just kind of like, that would be like a cool experience to see. Granted, you gotta be a diver and be willing to go to the depths, which I'm not. So yeah, I'll settle for the pictures. They were beautiful.
See plastic on the channel
They were
before,
beautiful.
but this 2021 discovery is just a new low, pun intended. Right off the coast of LA, hiding around 4,000 feet below the ocean's surface, sitting there for quite a long time were literal barrels of garbage, just waste. The plume of evil coming off
I mean,
these
we know
things
that
also.
there's
It looks
more
like a
plastic
nuclear
than
wasteland.
fish in the
Not only
oceans
because
at
it
this
is a
point.
literal nuclear
More
wasteland.
garbage.
How horrible is that? There weren't 30 or 40 of these barrels also, in case you're wondering. There were thousands. Around 27,000 were found. 2 weeks of searching with subs. What a sad expedition that must have been. Oh my. These barrels were dropping into the ocean around 1947 to around 1961. That's the window of time. You'd think after barrel 5,000, somebody would be like, this feels wrong. I don't know. And finally, number 1.
Yeah, that's
beneath a
nuts.
Glacier. We had to end this part 3 on some new footage from the bottom of an Antarctic glacier. And
That just goes to show how bad us humans are at just cleaning up after ourselves. It's kind of like a out of sight, out of mind kind of mentality.
Also,
You know
in case you're wondering, is the size of Florida. So if you're imagining like a big ice cube, it's a bit bigger than that, just a little bit. This is like finding the bottom of a continent. This thing is massive. And we sent a rover underneath all of it. How scary is that? If it were to collapse, our sea levels would rise 10 feet, just to give you an idea of how big it is. And in 2019, researchers drilled 2,300
That would be,
feet
like,
right
devastating.
through the Squid glacier and dropped a robot with a camera down, and then they just roamed around. And they saw this. Hold your breath. This is the first time we've ever seen the grounding zone of a massive glacier. There's only 1 meter of space between the bottom of the glacier and the rocky seafloor. Could you go down there? I don't think I could. I would swim underneath it and pretend like I'm lifting it up, you know? Just kidding. I wouldn't even get into the submarine to go down this hole.
Hell
Not a chance.
no.
Also, can we not drill through a glacier the size of Florida? Just sounds like a bad idea. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe leave this project alone. Guys, I've been Taylor McWaters.
Yeah, that
That's
sounds
been our
nuts,
list.
bro. That
See you
sounds
next
like
time.
you looking for some problems, bro. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. That seems super claustrophobic and out of my capabilities of comfortability. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool being, in uncomfortable situations, but not when they're claustrophobic. You know what I'm saying? That's not in the wheelhouse of things that I'm willing to do and put